morning, viewers around the world. You are welcome to News Echoes World Affairs. Today, Friday, the 4th of November, 2022. And we are here from all corners of the world. My friends, colleagues, coordinators of the Schengen Story Media, you are welcome. So it's a beautiful Friday, and it's the 4th of November. Now, the 4th of November around the world, in most part of the world, is a significant day. In Italy, we have the National Unity Day. In Russia, we have the Unity Day also. In the United States, today is National Candy Day. Candy has a day for it. And also in the United States is Love Your Lawyer Day. So we'll talk about these beautiful events today. And joining me to talk about them are my colleagues once more. Far away in Russia is Dr. Godwin Ibe. Dr. Godwin, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me once again.
Great. Yes, and also far, well, it's all extreme distance between us. Far away in Toronto, Canada is Sir George Chukwu. George, you're welcome to News Echoes this beautiful Friday.
It's my pleasure to be here and welcome viewers around the world.
Thank you very much. Yes, now you can't do anything in Nigeria if you're not in Abuja. And right there in the seat of power in Abuja is our man, Dr. Osita. Dr. Osi, are you there? Dr. Osi, okay. Complementing Abuja is Lagos. And Lagos is the firebrand city of Nigeria. So coming from Lagos is also our diva, Anita. Anita, are you also there?
Yeah, good morning.
Yes. I think, can you hear me?
I think it might be the problem from technical.
Yeah, she's been added back to the stream.
Okay, but can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good.
Yes, we can hear you.
I
can hear you now.
Oh, nice. Sorry, I think that was a little hitch. You know, technology could have those little things once in a while. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Gentlemen, Diva, you're all welcome. 4th of November is a beautiful day. Here in Italy, we're having what you call the National Unity and Armed Force Day. It's a day when the Italians remember the World War I, their victory in the World War I, and they make it a day to commemorate. You know, Italy has been involved in a lot of wars. So today is one of those days they remember their victory in the World War I. And I know there's something coming from Russia. What do we have in Russia today, Dr. Ibe? What's
Unity
happening?
Day. The Unity Day. So it's a public holiday. Russians don't usually joke with their vacation or holidays. Yeah, so I think, do I talk about the significance of the holiday to Russia?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's hear.
Okay, so the main significance is to mark the defeat of the Polish invasion. This happened around 1615, you know, the Polish-Russian war.
Yes.
So the militia from Nizhny Novgorod, the city in Russia, was able to defeat them and push them back. So it's been celebrated, although the dates have changed sometimes, but basically it's been celebrated here in Russia as a Unity Day, so it also reminds the Russians basically that, well, invasion didn't start this year, it didn't start last year, it's been going on for centuries, and the tendency of humanity is to defend their interests, whether it's personal, family, national interest, and power, and also interest.
Thank you very much. Yes. So, but we still have 2 other holidays also in the United States. I don't know, Sir George. There's one in there, right there with you, called National Candy Day. Do you guys celebrate candy? Is candy a day to celebrate?
Everything everything have a day in North America. Yeah, but the major one that is coming very soon is Thanksgiving Day, which is in this November, before the Christmas holiday. So that these little holidays they have all over the place. Only patches of people will celebrate it because only patches of people will have some sort of, passion for such.
Yes.
But the national holiday, the next one that is coming is Thanksgiving holiday.
Mm. Yes, it's good to have it set aside for, some of these things. I don't know, but
sorry, may I add
yes.
something? On the Unity Day, I think it would not do justice if I fail to mention that it was not just the Polish force; it was Polish-Lithuanian occupation forces,
yes,
right?
Polish-Lithuania.
Polish-Lithuania, yeah. So I set the history in context. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anyway, enjoy your beautiful Unity Day, and we'll also be enjoying ours in Italy. And Dr. Osita and Diva Anita, do you guys have any date special in Nigeria today? Is today anything? It doesn't have any.
Not anyone I know of. No.
Are you sure that it's not Buhari in the hospital there?
Yeah, but it's not a national holiday.
Okay, talking about national things.
It is a day, but not a national holiday. Yeah.
Talking about Nigeria and national things, gentlemen, we have a beautiful news that's been banging the social media waves and around the world. A woman of Nigerian descent, Amanda Azubuike, was promoted from the rank of a lieutenant colonel to a brigadier general in the United States Army, and right there in Kentucky, US. Now, why everybody's so excited is because she has the father is from Nigeria, and the mother is from Zimbabwe, but I think she's more on the further side. So her name ends with Azubuike, and gentlemen, we have been bombarded with so much sad news. This one is changing the atmosphere. What will you say? Let me begin with Diva Anita. How do you take the news, hearing a fellow lady like you being promoted to that rank?
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. And TGIF, what we celebrate in Lagos, just to answer your previous question, is TGIF. We get excited when it's Friday. We feel it's time to just unwind. So, and Saturdays is when we have the Owambe in Lagos. Okay, back to what you ask. I've been really, really over the moon with the news because it's really an exciting one when you see women, raising the bars for us in Africa. It means that everything is achievable if you work towards it. So congratulations to her and congratulations to all the women across Africa and the globe. We're excited. It's indeed an amazing news, and it's worth celebrating.
Thank you very much. It's indeed an amazing news, and it's worth celebrating. Now, she was actually born in the UK, and she attended schools. She did have mass comm, University of Arkansas many years ago, and she also has a master in professional studies. Dr. Sita, you are an academician. How do somebody coming from an academic field all of a sudden becomes a fighter, a warrior? How do you mix that, Dr. Sita? How do somebody coming from the academic field become?
It's everywhere. Most of my classmates are in the military. Some of them are actually almost generals too. But the fun part there is that Amanda became the voice of the army in the US. That is an amazing position. There was a time it was even rumored that she was the highest female officer in the US Army, but it's not true. She was the highest female officer of Nigerian descent. But people confused it. She became she has spent 30 years in the military, as young as she looks. She has spent 30 years in the military, and she joined when she was 20 or something. So she's not as young as she looks, but she has done so much, and she's very highly respected.
I think about 28, 28 if to be precise.
Excuse me?
Yes.
28, about 28, because she joined 1994. About 28 years, about 28 years.
I can hear you, Godwin. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. She has done, it means she's done 28 years,
28 years, yeah. She joined 94. Yeah, it's very long, yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. But she has spent 15 years doing what she's doing now, being the voice of the military. And where she is in Fort Knox, I mean that's a military city. You know, all you know about Fort Knox is the army. And and like I said, she has done well. She has done well for herself. She has done well for her profession. And then her family is very highly respected. Very highly respected.
Her family is very highly respected. It's a great news for us. Dr. Sir George, how do you feel being, you are close to her there? How do you feel seeing your country girl, somebody from your home, being elevated in this very prestigious?
Well, she bears our name, and that's a great thing. You know how they say, can anything good come from Nazareth? You know, but here is Azubuike becoming a general in the United States, and a lady for that matter. So that is telling us a whole lot. These days, you see many prime ministers, presidents are, you know, hailing from the female side. So it's the sign of the time, you know, gender equality. You know, it didn't used to be that way. They used to think that women are only good in the kitchen and raising children. But now we come to understand that what a man can do, a woman can also do it even better. So, you know, all hail to her, and we are so proud of, you know, the woman becoming the general in the United States of America. At least the name Nigeria is penned under her because of Azubuike. So we are glad.
Diva Anita, I know this is part of what you do, empowering women. So what will you say to young girls out there and the female gender? What will you say to them with an occasion like this? I mean, a lot of young ladies should tap into this. They can become whatever they can become, you know? And it's all about determination. I mean, go ahead. I know this is your line. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said it before. I said she's really raising the bars. Okay, we're looking at her as a source of inspiration right now. I mean, even at the age of almost 58, or she's 58 right now, and she's able to achieve this amazing milestone, it means that the girl in school can achieve her dreams or make her dream a reality as long as she works towards it and believes in herself. Because it all, you know, boils down to believing in yourself and working towards achieving it. It's not just about saying, oh, I'm going to be a medical doctor. You have to study. You have to invest in education. There are a lot of things that comes to play when you are pursuing your dreams, and you will definitely tell yourself that nothing is going to stop me. There's going to be criticism. I know she's got her story. She's gone through different processes to be where she is today. And today she's making a global news. That tells the little girl in the village, or even the one in the town, that her dreams can come to reality as long as she believes in herself and she works towards achieving it. That's my take on that, sir.
That's beautiful. So keep on.
I'm wondering also, why her father's name also, the country Zimbabwe came into it. This is a full Igbo man. How is Zimbabwe coming into? They are saying that the father hails from Nigeria and Zimbabwe.
No, the mother is Zimbabwe. The mother is Zimbabwean and the father is Nigerian.
Oh, the mother is Zimbabwean?
Yes. That's about her bio, I think, on the internet. I don't know, but maybe, but that's her bio on the internet. Yes, we really do appreciate such efforts, and we hope that we'll keep having more great achievements by Africans around the world. Africans are very diligent people, very resilient, very strong, ready to be what they want to be. So we're changing the narrative, we're changing the stereotype, and we're bringing a fresh new kind of doing things, ways of doing things in Africa. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Diva.
Sorry, can I add one thing? I didn't add anything to
my
this.
brother. Sorry, Doctor Ibe, go ahead. Because it's
Yes,
a woman. I thought.
yeah, but yeah, it's a joy to men as well. Why not? It's a joy to all men. I personally, well, when I look at her face, I see somebody who is, I may be wrong, but somebody who is easygoing. But then I think, well, now she's a Brigadier General. She couldn't have been all easygoing. But I want to highlight that the part where her role in the military is mostly public affairs. Yeah, so she's been coordinator of public affairs. It isn't like war or on the war front, like suggested earlier. Yeah, she's more into public affairs, and she's been promoted along those ranks. Now, the other thing I want to say is her consistency. So before she joined the army, when she was in the aviation for like 11 years, she passed the aviation courses. She served there for 11 years. So I want to highlight this whole I want to highlight consistency and competence, because there's this feeling that what a man can do, woman can do better. Well, whether it's a man or a woman, if there's no experience, there's no competence, there's no consistency, then you're not going to do it any better. You're going to do it definitely worse. And I also against the fact that she should be appointed Brigadier General just because she's a woman or just because she's Nigerian. I'm also against that. I'm happy that she's getting those positions because she's a competent African woman. And we should also know how to strike the balance between this competence and this, do I put it in quote, wokeness and all this identity politics. In this case, we can see that this is not identity politics, but this has to do with consistency and competence.
Consistency, competence. Thank you very much. Those are very good words to imbibe into the minds of young people, to competence, consistency, doing that good thing you're doing, and we'll keep on doing it, and good results will come. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Diva. Around the world today is world affairs, Schengen story, world affairs. Around the world, so much is happening. Now we're going to go into some other sad part of the world. I mean, humanity is always into something. Right there beside you, Dr. Sir George, not too far from your end, in Brazil. Brazil presently is in turmoil. They arrive in numbers. Thousands are coming in, trooping in, angry, drifting with the Brazilian flags, raising outside and screaming, even around military bases around the country. Now the armed forces have taken control, and things doesn't seem to be getting well. Brazil is in a state of confusion now. We all know what is happening. There was an election not too long ago, and the man that won, the other group, the far right president, the man that was there before, Bolsonaro, says that he didn't win right. So his followers are the ones creating this, and it's becoming something else. As of this morning, the crowd is growing, and they want Lulu to leave the power for Bolsonaro. I think I pronounced that right. So, gentlemen, what do you say about this commotion? That's right there in South America. Sir George, are you following that news?
Yes, the news is being out there, and you're seeing again a pattern that, what just happened the last presidential candidate election in the United States of America. When Biden won, all of a sudden, a group of individuals decided that it's not supposed to be that way. And there was an attempt of coup d'etat, by Mr. Trump himself after that. And he was able to gather a lot of people to come and challenge and even take over the government, at the state house or federal house. So what I'm saying is that this is almost a pattern, because if you listen to this man and the way he acts, he takes after Trump's analogy and Trump's way of ruling. So democracy is democracy. When this man won, it took him 3 days to come out and say stop, because the economy of the nation is being affected because they're blocking almost 190 different major roads in the whole country. Then after he made the announcement, he scaled down to 120 something. But you know, what is happening here around the world is people are rising up, especially considerably the far right people. They feel like this is the way it ought to be, whether we like it or not, we must demand. So that's what you're seeing in Brazil today. You know, we cannot say anymore that this is something that happens in third world countries. It happened in America, you know, behind my backyard there in the United States of America, where a man lost the election and refuses to admit even up until today. And that's what's happening in Brazil right now. But thankfully, things are scaling down because the military are coming over and they are dispersing a lot of places, you know, a lot of these crowds. And after, you know, the current president, you know, made announcements and begged the people to go home because food shortages are taking place already. They cannot even, you know, gas is not being distributed equitably because of all of this. So, and these people that are just blocking the roads, the question is, don't they have businesses?
Don't they have businesses?
Don't they have businesses? They don't have to go to work and earn a living, but they have to fight for something, you know, that is unnecessary. Democracy has spoken. The man won the election. Gracefully just, you know, say, okay, let everybody go home. Let's continue. Maybe I will try the next time, rather than bringing the whole nation into chaos.
Rather than bringing the whole nation into chaos. Thank you very much, Sir George. You're following that event there. Dr. Osita, monitoring from Nigeria and looking at this also with Nigeria having upcoming election in 2023, what are you saying? What is this happening in Brazil? How are you going to...
There are threats to democracy everywhere in the world. Okay. Oligarchs are coming to power, and Trump just made it popular. Believe me, this is the trend now in diplomacy. We are thinking that there is a rise in threats to democracy. People are beginning to reject democratic principles. This was because the examples that I used to give before in Africa is that this cannot happen in the developed world. This cannot happen in America. It cannot happen in Canada. It cannot happen in the UK. But it's happening. It is happening. The West has gone bonkers. Let's not play with it. Look at, well, you know, Brazil. Let's really go. Brazil is the 10th largest economy in the world. The 10th largest.
That's correct. Oh dear.
Don't go to venture into Brazil. You are warned not to go to Brazil. You are told that Brazil is a dangerous country. If the 10th largest economy is that dangerous, the largest economy in the entire Latin America is that dangerous, and they are threatening democracy, something is going wrong in the world then. Because nobody can seem to want to talk to them. Apart from that, there is even freedom of what's it called? There's an attempt to stop freedom of expression in Brazil. You're not free. The journalists are not free to write anything. And if that happens, they detain them. So what is happening in Brazil has been coming from a long history of kidnapping, like what's happening in Nigeria now, banditry. If you are a foreigner from the airport, you are scared for your life. So my thing here, what we're looking at from Nigeria is that we should be able to copy the things that are right. Because if we're looking up to nations like Brazil, if we're looking up to other Latin American nations that are drug infested and the rest of them, we're going to have problems developing our country. So yes, Brazil is in trouble because they cost it themselves. And then the only thing that they can do to ameliorate this is to begin to follow the rule of law, which is not happening now. Military era is back all over again. And in West Africa, we're going to have problems very soon.
In West Africa, we're going to have problems very soon. Dr. Osita, you really said some things here. Dr. Ibe, take note that Brazil has just come off a 2-decade of military dictatorship. I think that was in the 80s. And now we are having this again. How are you seeing this from Russia, Dr. Ibe? Brazil, 10th world economic power, Brazil also is known for a lot of things. Brazil, that's like the headquarter of the Latin Americans. I mean, what are you saying, Dr. Ibe?
Yeah, Brazil is a brotherly country to Russia, being member of BRICS. But BRICS is like a club of the big boys, regional leaders. So they have their own instruments, resources, banks, trade in their own national currencies. So anything that happens in Brazil, of course, is very close to Russia's heart. But I want to say something like this accusation of right or left and all of that. Please, I've said this so many times. The honeymoon is over. This honeymoon after Second World War, unipolar, one police of the world, everybody keeps quiet as long as you please the US or Soviet Union, and after the Soviet Union, only the US. As long as you please the apex, the alpha female, everything is okay with you. That is long over. For most of our existence, we knew what is called power play, power politics. You needed to know how to negotiate. You needed to know what leverage meant. You needed to know what interests are, national interests, and you had to take all that into consideration when making your offer and all of this. We've become so softened, so naive, so simplistic, so maybe overly diplomatic, and think that the world has always been like human nature hasn't changed. It's just whichever system is more beneficial for humans, they will just key into it. If it's more beneficial to be diplomatic, they will be. If it's more beneficial to take it by force, they will. That's just human nature. So we have to get back to the basics of real diplomacy. And real diplomacy is not all about saying humanity should be kind, should be good, God says this or God says that, we are this and we are that. But diplomacy, real diplomacy, is all about understanding interest, negotiating with leverage, knowing when to do Queen's Gambit, knowing what to compromise, what not to compromise. These are real. This has really been the fabric of democracy for a long time. And for Brazil, for example, and for example, in the US, for example, I use, like I said, I don't like to talk much about other countries, but judging from what is coming out from the US, we also have the Antifa from the left, yeah? So it's not the right party thing. We have the right causing violence, the left causing violence. It's all in different forms. They go under any umbrella, any group that benefits them better. But let's see how they are, the citizens, like most of the protest is for the military in Brazil to prevent the handing over of power. You see, it's still power play. They are trying to get a powerful force, which is the military, to solve the case, to solve the matter. Again, power play. So you have to take into interest, what are the interests of the military? What are the general interests of BRICS, or Brazil as member of BRICS? But I think that Lula is more close to, is what he's seen as one of the founding fathers of BRICS. So he tends to be, maybe he'll be a little bit more closer to BRICS integration. But overall, the diplomacy of BRICS, of Brazil being in BRICS and being a member of BRICS, isn't going to change irrespective of who the president is, because it's a very, very important organization.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to make a comment here, because when we're talking about diplomacy and we're talking about, the status quo of things, the way things used to be, the world has been at peace for a little while, until the emergence of people like Putin, who wants to hijack power. Is there democracy in Russia? And if there is democracy in Russia, what kind of democracy is that? I just want to know, because sometimes when we're talking from the two sides of our mouth, it seems as if, there are certain things that, things that are being neglected in this place.
Yes,
so when you talk about diplomacy, and when you talk about, the way things are being done around the world, now, Trump, who was an admirer, or what we call the puppet of Putin, wanted to hijack power after he lost the election. Putin himself has never been elected, right? Because there is no contest in that country. So when we talk about all this, is Russia should stay, on their own part, really, because he made himself a lifetime emperor per se, Yeah, he's using democracy as a way to mask the whole thing. After all, there is no democracy in Russia. He puts himself there all the time. So when we talk about this type of things, let's use countries that are considerate. Let's use countries that have the rule of law and obey the rule of law. Because as far as we are concerned, Russia is not part of that. And people that are mimicking Russia are the ones that are causing this problem. They are causing the whole issue because look at the lovers of Putin, like the former president, who is considered far right? And these people that are considered far right are supposed
Thank you
to
very
be
much.
conservative.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. I would like, as Russia has been mentioned, of course, I am forced to.
I like where we're going to, but we need to take a short break.
No. I have to.
Yes.
A break. Let me just quickly say.
Let's just go on the break and come back. I like where we're going to. But let's
Okay,
also
great. Let's take a break and then we'll come back. Yeah.
Yes, we'll come back. But it's a good one. Sir George is bringing some real strong issues. All right, gentlemen. This is News Echoes, and we're here looking into world affairs today, the 4th of November, 2022. So we'll be back.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
Gentlemen, we're back. The discussion was going to a very good corner, but it also heated up. But let's remember we have limited time. The networks are all around with us. We have quite a number of people also following us. At present, there are about almost 600 people. Yes, some things also happen in other parts of the world. The former Prime Minister of Pakistan had an assassination attempt. His lower part of his leg was shot, and we're seeing this all happening again and again. Imran Khan, a one-time golf player, a one-time cricket player, was almost killed. Also, right there in America, we had a situation where some people bugged into the wife of the husband of
Pelosi.
Yes. So these are all things happening around the world, and we need to look into this because it's happening. These are news that are making waves. Gentlemen, what do you say about these things in Pakistan?
Sorry. Yes. Even if we have very limited time, one-sided information can never be spilled out because it will misinform the public. So if a matter has been raised, it has to be dealt with. Now, speaking about democracy in Russia, democracy definitely is in Russia. Putin has about 90% rating, both in Eastern and Western publication. He has very high approval ratings from Russians. And all that matters to Putin is the approval rating of Russia, not the approval rating of somebody outside of Russia. Now, speaking about democracy as saying someone installed themselves or not installed themselves, if Russians vote according to what is clear in Eastern and Western publications that they want a particular leader to be there, whether they want him for lifetime or they want him for 2 years or for 1 year, this is their choice to make, not anybody else's choice, no matter how any other person feels about it. That's number one. Number two, symptoms and signs of democracy, like you call riots. Well, like I mentioned before, there was Antifa riot. There's the MAGA riot. Does that mean that the US is now has lost democracy? Or if you speak about maybe signs of democracy as corruption, well, there's corruption everywhere. We know about the war economy and how war has been beneficial to countries. So speaking about democracy in Russia, yes, there is democracy, a resounding democracy is the will of the people as everyone recognizes. But it's about defending their interests, and definitely Russia can be a good example because Russia has solved lots of problems in the world, including not only energy, as people say. We have problems in Central African Republic, which Russia has solved. We have the United States in Syria that was not invited by the Syrian government at the point where the Syrian government was almost losing the war. But with the help of Russia, there's some kind of stability despite the loss of lives. Now we have other cases of interventionism in the name of democracy. Serbia was bombed, Iraq weapon of mass destruction not found, Yugoslavia bombed. Serbia is still trying to, survive the memories of this very horrific event. So speaking about democracy, a system of government cannot work everywhere. There's a self-determination of people. They decide how they want to work. And I'm not saying this to be like only America is at fault. No, absolutely. Every country has their pluses and minuses, their government that works, but it has to be taken generally. Their culture, the will of the people, their style. It may not be your style, but it works.
Thank you very much. You've obviously given a very good response to what Dr. Sir George said. So, but one thing remains. The world is changing, and that was one thing I picked from Sir George's statement. The world is changing. There's an awakening. There's an awareness in the lives of people. People don't want to be coerced and moped up into a system, a thing they don't like. So if Russia has a majority of the people wanting a particular man at all times, okay. But we hope it is judicially done, and we hope it is fairly done. We hope it's not like what we saw the referendum last time and some rush.
The point is, Mark Godwin, you listen to this.
Okay,
a people are a people, but if you are from North Korea today, you have a leader, who is a lifetime leader. And you trying to tell me, okay, let's say the world muscles him into bringing democracy, and then every 4 years or 5 years he sits down and allow political movement to fester, but yet everybody knows he's our lifetime leader. So at the end of the day, after you do the demonstration, the fake demonstration of political movement and all those type of things, he emerges as the leader again. They have no choice. They have no choice, or he will mandate what is going to be written on the paper, and then they will come and announce it by a supreme justice or whatever the case might be. So what we are really saying with real democracy is what we are talking about, not, the pseudo democracy that like what you have in Russia. We know
somebody
just
wrote it's an intentional move. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's go on with the news. Let's go on with occurrences happening all over the world. Dr. Osi, we are seeing assassination attempts on former leaders. We saw the killing of Japanese Prime Minister. Now these things are coming up again. Dr. Osi, how safe also are Nigerian politicians, Nigerian leaders in such issues? What will you say? Yesterday, an assassination attempt on Imran Khan, one-time Pakistan Prime Minister. Go ahead, sir.
I think this is important. This is important to us because last week here we discussed arms, citizens bearing arms. Everywhere you find assassination attempt is the access to arms. That's that's the implication. It's going to happen in Africa. It's going to happen in Nigeria if people bear arms, because it is a reaction to how you feel. Right from the time of Kennedy, the reaction of how you feel, you come out in the open to express yourself, and some of them are outright assassination attempt, some of them are expression of disgust, and some of them are just there to become famous. So all over the world, I am actually sorry for for the former Prime Minister of Pakistan that was shot in the shin, because it was an attempt quite okay. Just that we've not been able to find out what the details are. We found that if not that he was protected and the doctors were there to help, he would have lost his life just to somebody. Who was just there to express how he was feeling. But please let me also say that for us who are here in Africa, we have these same issues. If you go to my adopted country, Uganda, for instance, the man has been there now for decades. And now there's a plan for him to come back as his son in 2026. In Equatorial Guinea, for the 3 years, of one person, and the son, who is his vice, is going to continue when he ends. The globe is in trouble. We are in a mess in the world. We're just looking for ways and means to make sure that our countries individually become proper. And then after that, we also have, have the wherewithal to sustain that kind of governance. We are praying that someday, maybe in the very near future, Nigeria should be able to show an example in Africa. And if we can show an example in Africa, it means that we have started a pattern that can save the continent. Otherwise, we're all in the mess.
Otherwise, we're all in this. And also, we saw the attempt on the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, and he almost died too. And now they are saying it's as a result of the MAGA Republicans that have been brainwashed by ex-President Donald Trump. And this is all blowing up into the wrong direction.
Can I say something? Can I say just one word about that? Okay. Can I say this is not a Trump issue? It is not a Trump issue. The issue with MAGA, the issue with MAGA is an American tradition. Trump just brought it to the open. What America has done in the last 60 years is to keep people like Trump and these ideas in the box. I experienced it personally. I know about it. You're a black-skinned person in America. There are some states where you cannot go and be as free as you are in other states. And I mean this. It's very, very clear. My children couldn't go to some schools because they were squad cars, parked there, trying to protect the black kids from the white kids. That is the truth. So what we are saying about MAGA today, Donald Trump, bears the brunt because he is the ringleader. He is the face of that movement. But he's not doing it alone. Many Americans have been ready for this. They have been ready for this. They have been waiting for this. And believe me, if Trump has the permit to campaign tomorrow, they will go behind him.
Of course.
That is the truth.
Because most of them said.
Dr. Osita,
yes, go ahead.
I did experience the same thing myself. I went to school in Tennessee myself, in the Deep South. So I do understand that even in that area, there are places I dare not even attempt to go to. So the point Dr. Osita is trying to make is that most of these people that feel like America belongs to them, the white people, they feel like foreigners are coming in, they are taking over. And what is happening is they are trying to, quote unquote, to reclaim what belongs to them. So that's what, Trump, represents, is white supremacists. It's just like what is happening now with Kyrie Irving, who refuses to apologize for whatever statement for posting such extreme anti-Semitic movie. He refuses to apologize. So this is what you're really seeing. These people feel like, okay, if Democrats are taking over, that they are allowing foreigners to come in, and then you are allowing Black people to take certain positions. When Obama won, it was like a shocker to the white supremacists, and it was a shocker to certain part of America. They believe that to be patriotic means that they gotta be whites ruling all the time. So right after Obama's rule, Trump now came, and this is exactly what fueled the whole entire thing. So it is right. When that man went over to Pelosi's place, the target was Pelosi, but the husband was there. He became the victim. So what you're seeing is these people have the impetus. It is happening in Nigeria. We, a group of people, feels like we are born to rule that country. And you look at from the 1960 up until today, divide your other nation, other people that have ruled Nigeria versus this particular group of people ruling Nigeria. That's what you see in America there. So yeah, the MAGA thing is, and they are supposed to be conservatives. And conservatives are supposed to be the peacemakers. But yet they come out with all manner of insidious ways of, dealing with issues rather than going through the rule of law.
Thank you very much. Anybody have anything to say again, Dr. Odibe? Let's wrap this.
Yeah. I want to say that racism, supremacy, race supremacy has nothing to do with party. It is party is just an umbrella where you find an instrument, a convenient instrument to use. The reason I'm saying this is basically because if the idea that the left is known, if this maybe illegal immigrants and they didn't have voting power, they were of no use to the voter base, then the focus on their liberalism would have been diluted to absolute zero. So I'm trying to point out the fact that we also are not making it easy for black rescue of the black race from the lower echelons of the society to the higher echelons by not focusing on competence, by playing identity politics. That's why at the beginning of the program, I made it very clear. Consistency, competence was one of the landmarks of the lady Azubuike, who became the general. Let's try to get it would be better if black women are not just pregnant with fatherless children. It would be nice if we can get education, raise education among the blacks. It would be nice if we can, put them in places where they can gain experience and the competence required to compete, rather than saying that, oh, someone should be somewhere because he's black, or someone should be somewhere because we are not helping matters by playing all those identity politics. We should really help ourselves by getting to the basics, education, experience, and making sure things like all lives matter. Saying, okay, let all lives matter, but let Blacks' life also matter.
Thank you very much.
And not only one life matter. Let all lives matter.
Let all life matter. Let everybody be carried along. Yes. Good words coming out from that part. Yes, sir.
Mark, one major thing is this. You see, when you throw stones like that, let them not have fatherless babies and all those type of things. These are what we call it the symptoms of the main issue. The main issue is not really that. You cannot judge a person until you wear their Indian moccasins. The point about this is many of these Americans, if jails were not made until they wanted to put black people in a certain place. And if you know the insidious ways they have used to dispossess black people from voting, then you will understand. So jobs are created in such a way, 5 people will go for an interview. You have a black person that is overqualified or more qualified than the white person, but this person has only high school degree, and you give them the job and then bring the other one below. So these are things that are happening that I experienced myself. As a Nigerian who lived in America, I know what I went through. So for you to start saying, oh, they took these people, After all, how many years was slavery? Yet we have seen a lot of black people. Obama is one of this example. The father is from Kenya. The mother is a white woman. But yeah, consistency and things like that. But the laws are made against a group of people. When cocaine came to America, I want you to understand something. They turned it to crack. It was the government who actually flooded black communities with these drugs.
Okay,
and
thank you very much. I really think, sorry, Sir George, I think we're going to work on the networks to increase our time. Schengen story, World Affair is really going on a very wonderful path. I mean, such argument, good argument, opens our eyes and really gets us to understand some things happening in the world. Thank you. It's a pity our time is short, but we need to look at all the issues we have today. Diva Anita, will you pay an equivalent of $8 to have a blue mark on your Twitter? Are you on Twitter? Will you pay an equivalent of $8 to have that certified, that verified Twitter account? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I laughed over the whole thing because
that's what is happening now. Twitter has been taken over by a man called Elon Musk, and Elon is trying to make new policies. So people will be paying for having that mark on that blue verified mark on your Twitter. I tried to verify my Twitter some time ago, but I didn't meet the criteria. So now he's saying you have to pay $8 equivalent. So in Nigeria, that would be like paying 15,000 naira. Are you ready to pay 15,000 naira to keep your Twitter checked, blue checked?
Okay, my take on that, I think what he wants to do is to regulate Twitter, so it's not just going to be available for everyone. Because before he became the owner, there was this free speech thing going on. Anybody can just go on Twitter, verify their account. I think he wants to make sure that they're well represented. Maybe that's why he's coming up with such policy, because he himself has been tweeting with a verified account, and I don't think he paid such an amount before becoming the owner. So you know how it is in politics. When you come into power, you introduce new policy that works for you. I think he knows best. We need to have maybe a one-on-one interview with him so he can explain more about why he came up with that idea of people paying to, get a verified account, basically.
Thank you very much.
I believe that he wants to make back his money.
Yes. Apart from make back his money. I mean, $44 billion.
He's just trying to find an excuse to do so. He spent a lot of money to buy this thing and went through a whole lot of stress. So now the only way to recover his money back, after all, he wants to, liberate Twitter. He doesn't want any control on it. He wants you to have free speech. And then all of a sudden, even if I have a false account, there are ways of me maintaining my account by paying, making sure that I pay money. If I have to go and buy credit card and then pay with it, the man wants to make money. Forget all these things he's saying.
Nice.
Yeah.
Recover his 45 million.
Go ahead, Ibe.
Okay. It's like saying Lamborghini is selling Lamborghini because they want to make money. Oh yes, they want to make money from Lamborghini. Do you need the blue tick? You can use Twitter without the blue tick. Why do you need the blue tick? If you want to roll with the big boys, then pay for it. Twitter remains free, number one. Number two, bot has been a problem. Bots have been a problem. So and bots are used by intelligence agencies to direct public narrative views, which has been used especially by the left. Which is, according to the opinion of most people, analysts, I see, especially even including Elon Musk. So having a way to fight that, I think, is also very important. But we don't have to have the blue tick. I don't plan to get the blue tick, and I can still use Twitter. I don't need to sew a coat bigger than my size.
Still on you, Dr. Ibe, a fast one. Our time is running out. Russia is returning to the grain deal. This is days after suspending that arrangement. Because of some things we know some illegalities were going on there. What do you tell us about this grain deal? Because the world is suffering from food. The grain was had a lot of impact it was doing in food production, because grain, you could extract grain into other things. Now, water, so many of the food commodities, we can't have them again around Europe because of the grain. Tell us in a few minutes. Our time is
there were lots of issues with that. Number one is that most of the exported grains were going to Europe rather than the poorest countries. I think that's a general consensus about that. Yes. So it was not in Africa's interest, the grain deal, number one. Number two, it also wasn't helping the war in terms of it was also used as weapon supplies. Allegations, I didn't see it, but a lot of people say it was also used for weapons transfer, and Russia wasn't happy with it. Number three, the attack on Sevastopol, the recent terrorist attacks, Sevastopol, Crimea Bridge, and the rest. We know there's a war, there's a conflict.
So it's open. We can
In all, they were able to, and that was because of the role and the Turkey played. They had Turkish foreign ministry. That is be able to get the interests of both the Kiev and Russia maintained, and it's very important when you're not listening to. You may not like Putin, but you have to take his interest into consideration whenever you want to make a deal.
Thank you very much. So we are happy the deal is done. Grains will be made available to Europe and to Africa, and food will be on again. So many other things will begin to roll up. We don't want to be kept in the dark.
We need to clap for Putin for that one. We need to really clap for him. He did a fantastic job.
Yes, that's a good one. Thank you.
When I saw that deal, I said, is Saul also among the prophets? You know, this one is doing something good for the world.
You see, good one. Thank you very much, Sir George.
You know, before.
Okay. Diva, sorry, because of time, please, gentlemen. Diva, Anita, Davido and his uncle will be receiving an award in America this weekend. It's called Afro Award. I think Sir George will also tell us something in a jiffy. What do you know about this, Diva? I know you're in the entertainment field. The award for Davido, our Afro life artist. What do you know about the award?
Okay, Afro Award is usually an award to celebrate exceptional Africans and Americans who are affecting lives, especially humanitarianly. So the organizers every year, they choose certain phenomenals who are, doing something remarkable in their field. And this year's one, irrespective of the sad news, they decided to recognize Afro artists, which is Afro hip hop artist Davido, with an award, and also his uncle, who happens to be the winning candidate for Osun State gubernatorial election. And one other person, a drummer called Tajuddin, I didn't really get the second name, and the organizers said they have proven to be exceptional in their field, and they've gone all out to affect lives through music and whatever they do as individuals. That's why they're lined up for that very award, which is going to be taking place in very year 2022 in California.
Yes. Gentlemen, listen, I think we're going to get more time slots for our program. There's so much to talk about. Dr. Sita has a lot, Sir George and everybody, but we have to go. We have to go. We have an hour slot, and the beeper is telling me, beep, it's time to go. So, but on this note, we want to say thank you all for coming. Thank you for the updates you've given us and the insights. This beautiful day, News Echo World Affairs, Friday, the 4th of November, and I'm with my friends and colleagues from different parts of the world. Diva Anita from Lagos, Nigeria, Dr. Osi from Abuja, Nigeria, Sir George Chukwu from Toronto, Canada, and my great friend, Dr. Ibe from Russia. So, guys, we'll be back on Wednesday to talk about Nigeria. A lot of things are happening. Nigeria has so much to talk about. So you guys come prepared as we hit the road on Wednesday next week on our Nigerian Global Affairs. Until then, have a beautiful weekend and enjoy the 4th of November holiday, the candy holiday, the nurse holiday, lawyer holiday, and all the holidays. Thank you. Bye-bye. Till we come again.